They lied to you. Throughout your life, they injected the poison of servile morality into your veins, telling you that if you are a good person, the truth will be your shield. They taught you that when attacked, you must explain yourself, prove your innocence, cry out for justice. Pure fantasy. In the real world, in the arena where wills clash and power is the only currency that doesn't depreciate, defense is merely a slow and humiliating form of agony. Niccolo Machiavelli observed men not as they should be, but as they are, predators covered by a thin veneer of civility. When someone attacks you, whether with harsh criticism at work, betrayal in a relationship, or a smear campaign, that person doesn't want the truth. They want your blood. They want your reaction. The mediocre mistake, the mistake almost everyone makes, is accepting the role of the accused. The moment you try to explain yourself, you've already lost. You've given your aggressor what they most desire: control over the territory of the conversation. Feel the invisible wound now. Remember the last time someone cornered you, that tightness in your chest, the cold sweat, the desperate urge to say, "It's not quite like that." That reaction is your prey instinct dominating your strategist mind. The common, the weak, the manipulable shrinks and begs for understanding. But you are not here to be understood. You are here to be sovereign. The Machiavellian trick that history has tried to hide isn't about how to block a blow, but about how to make your enemy's blow the cause of their own downfall. Imagine the force of a punch that, instead of finding a face, finds a vacuum and dislocates the shoulder of the one who delivered it. It's about psychological alchemy, transforming the lead of another's aggression into the gold of your own ascension. I'm not going to teach you how to be nice. I'm going to teach you how to be needed, and if necessary, feared. I'm going to show you how to reverse the polarity of the attack so that the harder they hit, the faster they destroy themselves. If you're looking for comfort, this video isn't for you. If you're looking for the power to never again be a victim of circumstances, pay attention, because what I'm about to reveal to you is the hidden mechanics behind the eyes of those who truly govern. But that's not even the most dangerous point. Before mastering the technique, you need to understand the geometry of the power that sustains the attack. The average person lives under a paralyzing illusion. They believe the world is a court where absolute truth prevails. How pathetic. The mediocre person, when attacked, looks at the aggressor and asks, "Why are you doing this to me?" They seek logic where only the will to power exists. They seek justice where only predation exists. For you, from now on, the attack is not a moral offense. It is a tactical move. It is a piece your opponent has moved on the board, revealing not your weakness, but their insecurity. Machiavelli taught that the virtue of the prince lies not in following the laws of the herd, but in mastering fortuna, the unpredictable and brutal events of life. When someone attacks you, that person is trying to hijack your identity. They want you to see yourself through their distorted mirror. The weak accept the mirror, try to clean it, try to prove that the image there is wrong. The strategist breaks the mirror and uses the shards as blades. Understand reframing. An attack is a desperate plea for relevance. Nobody kicks a dead dog. If you are being targeted, it's because you possess territory, physical, intellectual, or status-related, that the other party desires or fears. By reacting with indignation, you confirm that the attack has hit you. You become reactive, a satellite orbiting the will of your enemy. But the master strategist reverses this logic. You must become the center of gravity. Think of the force of gravity. It doesn't fight against what falls into it. It simply absorbs, integrates, or crushes it with the weight of its own existence. When you stop defending yourself, you remove the ground from under the aggressor's feet. He relied on your resistance for support and momentum. Without your resistance, he falls into the vacuum of his own aggression. They, the easily manipulated ones, need your validation, even if it's through hatred. They feed on your distress. But I ask you, is the ocean disturbed by a stone thrown into its waters? It swallows it and remains immense, silent and deep. The other's attack is a confession of their impotence in the face of your strategic indifference. Now that you understand that attacking is a resource, not an insult, we need to delve into the mechanism that makes this reversal work in practice. Now I'm going to show you the hidden mechanics that transform the opponent's attack into your greatest advantage. The hidden mechanic governing the Machiavellian counterattack is as simple as it is lethal: the reaction vacuum. Understand one fundamental thing. Every attack is a bridge your enemy tries to build between their instability and your peace. They launch an accusation, an insult, or a low blow, hoping you will complete the structure with your indignation. But what happens when they lay the foundation and you simply don't offer the other side? They plummet into the abyss of their own exposure. Machiavelli knew that power is not a solid substance, but a relationship of forces. When you are attacked and remain in absolute silence or respond with a calmness bordering on disdain, you alter the laws of social physics. The aggressor has poured out energy. You have neither absorbed nor returned it. You have let it pass. Now his energy is floating without a target, making him vulnerable. He who shouts reveals his limit. He who strategically remains silent suggests a power without boundaries. Observe the mediocre. They believe that silence implies consent. What primitive folly! In high strategy, silence is control. By not reacting immediately, you force the attacker to fill the silence, and it is in silence that his fear flourishes. He begins to wonder, why isn't he shouting? What does he know that I don't? How big will his counterattack be? His attack, which should diminish you, ends up magnifying your figure because you become an unsolvable enigma. The mechanism is this. You transform someone else's aggression into a public confession of weakness. By maintaining the posture of someone who is above the conflict, you signal to everyone around you that the other person's attack is irrelevant, too small to affect your orbit. You are not just ignoring it, you are disqualifying the aggressor without saying a single word. You make them pathetic in the eyes of the world. Now I'm going to show you how this mechanism operates in the shadows of the mind. Because the vacuum isn't just an absence of sound, it's a psychological trap of surgical precision. But beware, there's a trap here that can destroy the strategist before he even begins. And this leads us to the most humiliating mistake you can make right now. And now, we arrive at the precipice where most men voluntarily throw themselves, the desperate need to be understood. And this leads us to the most humiliating mistake you can make in the midst of an attack: self-justification. The moment you open your mouth to say, "Let me explain my side," or "That's not true," because you have just signed your surrender document. You have become the subject of a judge you yourself crowned. Observe the mediocre person. He is a slave to his own image. When someone casts a shadow on his reputation, he runs with a lantern in hand, desperately trying to illuminate every detail, proving that he is good, that he is just, that he is right. He doesn't realize that in doing so, he is validating the authority of the aggressor. If you justify yourself, you admit that the other person has the right to question you. You gave him the throne, and now you are begging for a favorable verdict. Machiavelli despised this weakness. For him, truth is not something that is proven. It is something that imposes itself through the force of reality. The weak try to convince. The sovereign simply is. Understand the dark psychology behind this. Your explanation is food for your enemy. Every argument you present is a new surface for him to bite. You are handing him the map of your insecurities, showing him exactly where his arrow has wounded you. How many times have I seen brilliant men reduced to pathetic shadows because they couldn't bear the weight of an unjust accusation? They wallow in the mire with the aggressor, trying to fight with their hands covered in mud. But here's the secret that the easily manipulated will never understand. In the mire, the pig wins because it likes the mud. You, on the other hand, come out dirty and exhausted, even if you win the argument. The truth is, most people don't want your explanation. They want your energy. They want to see you squirm under their microscope. The humiliating mistake is believing the attack is about facts. It's never about facts. It's about the hierarchy of who can demand answers from whom. When you stop justifying yourself, you reclaim your crown. You leave the aggressor talking to himself like a madman shouting at a marble statue. Now comes the part that changes everything. Once you stop bleeding through the justifications, you are ready not only to resist, but to hijack the energy of the attack and use it as fuel for your own ascension. Now comes the part that changes everything. You've stopped bleeding. You've stemmed the hemorrhage of justification. Now you're going to learn to bite. The true power shift doesn't consist of returning the blow with the same weapon, but in hijacking the aggressor's spotlight and pointing it back at their eyes with a blinding intensity. The secret that Machiavelli would whisper in your ear is this: every attack is, at its core, a projection of a deficiency or a fear. The mediocre person believes the attack is about what they did or failed to do. You, the strategist, know that the attack is about the psychology of the attacker. Your mission is not to clear your name. It is to dissect your enemy's intentions in public without needing to raise your voice. While the weak feel examined, the master examines the one who examines him. When someone tries to diminish you, that person is trying to establish a hierarchy where they are at the top. The power shift happens when you reject this geometry. Instead of responding to the accusation, you question the accuser. You apply what I call reversal of scrutiny. Imagine the scene. Someone attacks you with a fierce criticism. The average person stammers. You look at the aggressor with almost clinical curiosity, a slight smile like someone observing an interesting insect, and calmly ask, "What exactly are you trying to gain from this spectacle now?" Notice the change in tone. The aggressor, who felt like the supreme judge, suddenly finds himself in the defendant's dock of others' perception. You didn't deny the offense. You rendered it irrelevant by exposing the pathology of the person who uttered it. Machiavelli understood that the people, and here we include his colleagues, his followers, and his rivals, follow the one who demonstrates the greatest control over reality. By focusing on the other's dark motivation, you destroy their foundation. He wanted conflict. He found an autopsy. He wanted to diminish you. He ended up revealing his own pettiness and envy for all to see. You're no longer playing his game. You've created a new battlefield where the prize is moral and psychological authority. The attacker is searching for something they lack. The one who maintains composure and questions the source of the aggression demonstrates that they already possess everything they need. But that's not even the most dangerous point, because disarming the enemy is only the beginning. The real triumph lies in how you use this moment to consolidate your dominance over the environment. Now I'm going to show you the practical application and the devastating effect this posture has on the people around you. The practical application of this secret is not a debate. It's a spectacle of authority, where silence is your best weapon and indifference is your sharpest command. Now I'm going to show you what happens in the social fabric around you when you refuse to be the victim of the attack. The air in the room changes. The temperature drops for the aggressor, while their market value, their currency of power, skyrockets. Observe the witnesses to the conflict. The average person, the easily manipulated one, observes the interaction like a cornered animal awaiting the outcome of a hunt. If you defend yourself, he sees you as the prey. If you turn the tables using Machiavelli's mirror, he sees you as the alpha predator. People don't align themselves with whoever is right. They align themselves with whoever demonstrates greater emotional and strategic control. By remaining unfazed, you signal to everyone that the other's attack is harmless, almost childish. In practice, this manifests itself in how you occupy the space. If someone tries to humiliate you publicly, you don't look away. You maintain eye contact. Let the silence stretch until the aggressor starts to sweat, and then with a voice devoid of anger, you dissect their attempt. It's fascinating how much aggression you need to validate such a weak point. There you go. With one sentence, you not only reversed the attack, you reordered the social hierarchy of that environment. The effect on people is devastating for your enemy. They begin to distance themselves from him, not out of morality, but out of survival instinct. Nobody wants to be on the side of someone who is losing their composure and being exposed. The aggressor, who sought to isolate you, ends up isolated in his own toxicity. He becomes the difficult one, the unstable one, while you become the rock, the point of reference, the natural leader who governs through perception. I've seen empires and careers destroyed in minutes because someone didn't know how to handle that vacuum. The aggressor collapses trying to hit you, and each missed blow makes them more pathetic in the eyes of the public. You didn't need armies, just a mind trained in the darkness of pure strategy. But that's not even the most dangerous point. You've mastered the environment, subdued the aggressor, and won over the spectators. However, there's a much more intimate and lethal enemy that can sabotage this entire construction if you don't know where it's hiding. Now comes the part that changes everything, as we descend into the basement of your own mind to confront the root of all your vulnerability. To dominate the world out there, you first need to assassinate the imposter that lives within you. The external enemy is merely a reflection of your own need for validation. I've seen brilliant men become pathetic shadows, not because of the force of another's blow, but because the root of their vulnerability was planted in the soil of ego. The mediocre person is a slave to their own image. They want to be loved. They want to be seen as the hero of their own story. And this childish desire for approval is the leash their aggressor uses to drag them into the mire. The death of your old self is the price of your sovereignty. The one you were, the one who felt anger, who felt wronged, who desperately sought to prove that he was good, must be sacrificed on the altar of pure strategy. Machiavelli didn't just teach war tactics, he taught a new way of being where pain no longer finds its target. True power is born the moment you look at your own ego and realize that it is merely a tool, not your master. I've seen this happen hundreds of times. The person tries to use the vacuum technique or the inversion mirror, but fails miserably because their heart still races with fear of what they will think. As long as you care about the verdict of the mediocre masses, you will be their property. They, the common people, the manipulable ones, live for the judgment of others. From now on, you must live only for the effectiveness of your plan. Your old self wanted justice. Your new self only wants the result. Now imagine yourself wiping the blood of that old ego from your hands. There is no room for sentimentality at the table of those who decide destinies. The wound your enemy tried to open is now just a war scar that no longer hurts, because there is no one left inside you to feel the pain. You have become the observer, the architect, the ghost operating within the machine of power. This inner transformation is what separates those who are used from those who use. Without this death, all technique is just a cheap trick that crumbles under pressure. But with it, you become unshakable. You are no longer in the game. You are the game itself. Now comes the part that changes everything. Once you've cleaned house and buried the dead, what's left? What remains when you rise above ordinary humanity and look at the chessboard from above with the clarity of a strategic god? The air around you is different now. What was once a fog of uncertainty and fear is now the sharp clarity of marble. You are no longer the man who entered this video looking for a way out. You are the strategist who has found the entrance to a new reality. Machiavelli's technique wasn't just about words or silences. It was about the transmutation of your essence. The enemy's attack wasn't a tragedy. It was the hammer that shaped your crown. Observe the abysmal distance between you and the mediocre mass. They remain down there shouting, explaining, begging for emotional mercy and validation. They are the playthings of fortune, dry leaves blown by the wind of others' opinions. You, on the other hand, have become the master of your own gravity. When you refuse to be the target, you become the horizon. And the horizon is unattainable. It merely observes, vast and sovereign, while small men try to reach it with their hands stained with resentment. This is the moment of your elevation. True power isn't noisy. It's a constant frequency that makes others adjust to you. You've learned the art of not just surviving, but thriving in conflict. You now understand that being attacked is the greatest compliment mediocrity can pay to your strength. Every stone thrown your way is, from today onward, just another step in building your monument. But know this knowledge carries weight. Once you see the hidden machinery beneath the skin of civility, you can never again feign ignorance. You are now part of a select lineage of minds that refuse to accept the chains of servile morality. If you have felt the electric shock of strategic truth coursing through your veins, your place is here, among the sovereigns who refuse to be mere spectators of their own lives. To seal this pact with your new identity, I demand a ritual of commitment to your own greatness. If you are ready to leave the sheep's clothing behind and assume the mantle of the strategist, write now in the comments. The sovereign does not justify himself. May these words be the sign that you are no longer prey, but the very force of nature that the mediocre will try unsuccessfully to contain. And if you seek to master the shadows of psychology and the light of pure strategy, sign up now and turn on notifications. Don't do it for information. Do it for belonging to the elite that governs itself before governing the world. The journey is just beginning, and the throne of silence awaits those who have the courage to occupy it.